cup of coffee at the island. I had a conversation with John O'Keefe Sr. We were talking, kind of nervous conversation. He said that they had water damage in the kitchen and they had repaired the kitchen, flooring and the like at a cost of $75,000. He was hurting, and I was hurting for him. And my daughter was crying, and our kid was both crying. And the rest I'll reveal. Attorney Brennan wants to call me. I'm on the list, so we'll see if he wants to call me.
Was there an island? Was there an island?
Well, I wasn't sitting on a stool, dangling my legs and pouring a cup of coffee in my lap.
And did Peg lean over and say he looks like he was hit by a car?
That's correct.
She did say that. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yo, let me get your autograph.
What's up, man?
Eddie Modenazo Rico in the house. Your boy Johnny Picho here. I know about you, boy. What up? What up, Johnny?
All right,
Picho?
hold on.
What's up? Can I get your autograph?
I'll come back later.
You'll come back later?
I'll come back later.
Oh my God!
All right.
It's your boy Johnny Picho.
Let them do their job. Let them do
Can I
their
get your
job.
autograph?
Later on. Let them do their job.
It's your boy Johnny Picho.
I gotta work.
Your boy Johnny.
All right, folks, here we go. Sunday night. Who am I? Good evening, everyone. We're going to let everybody file in. We are on Verdict Watch. I'm what's considered a great witness by the defense. Right now, we're live on X. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're on Verdict Watch for the Karen retrial. The reason I do this or did this is just because I go back to when Lucky Lawford, the plow driver, when he was so brilliant. Now that's a witness. He didn't see anything. They should have brought someone in with the seeing eye dog. I also didn't see anything. Sue O'Connell, maybe the best witness I've ever seen. I think Lucky was the best witness on Canton Confidential, and he was so great because he didn't see anything. My goodness. We're on Verdict Watch. We are. I will be answering some questions. The best way to get your question answered is on Facebook to send stars or YouTube, where you can send super chat. And then what's the other one? Hold on. I looked into this. We're still getting acclimated with YouTube. Okay. Super chat and super thanks. Okay. All right. Now, folks, we are on Verdict Watch. And what I do, no, I will be there tomorrow. Centered. Here we go. I will be there tomorrow. Good evening, everybody. Yep. And so many of you enjoyed yesterday, right? And what I like to do, our longtime viewers and followers, they recognize that something advantage I have over others is humor, right? We use humor. Even when we're out, and you hear them mention Road Patrol Live, that that I like, using humor. And I think in many ways we can weave in and out factual, logical information with this Karen Read case. And at the same time, we can do it in an entertaining way. I'm all about the entertainment. And I want to be very clear. It's the narrative that's going forth right now. And people don't need to send me polls. People are sending me polls. See, it's 80-20. It means nothing. I told you, I've been on this case for the past 2 years. I started with, I don't believe what they're putting forward. Let me be very clear. I started with that in July of 23. It'll be 2 years next month. My reaction was, I don't believe this conspiracy. Now, since then, they've come off that, right? No, he's no longer in the basement. Now he's in the garage. So since then, I've also, thank you. Your latex spouse. Thank you. Great. Thank you. We're just getting started. I appreciate that. I know a number of people are saying, I think it's going to be not guilty. Oh, there's reasonable doubt. No, there's not. Hank Brennan delivered the closing for the ages. And the more I watch it, I'm glad to see some people are saying they've watched. I mean, I keep watching it. I keep picking up little lines. I love that he was saying, as I said, she was drunk. Karen Read was drunk. I love that. Because how come the local media doesn't say that? How come? How come on Boston 20, Ted Daniel, why does it say Karen Read, who was drunk that night? How come on Canton Confidential, they don't say Karen, who clearly was drunk? Of course she was. Talked about it, right? The week before. All right, let me get out of the way. Because I know a lot of people like the La Posada stuff. Again, I know there she... hold on, I have another slide actually that kind of sums up. He was 7'2". He was bitten by a bear. It was so preposterous. Good afternoon, right morning. You know, what was that? What do you think the jury's thinking? I'll tell you what the jury's thinking. The jury's not just going to throw Hank Brennan overboard for her, right? And I've told you what it... Hold on, I'm still... Let me... Can I move these a little bit? Sorry, folks. I'm still getting acclimated on how I can utilize all of my tools. Nope, I want to remove that. There we go. And, okay, let me find... Where's the other one? I'll do a Lessie. I actually do a... Here we go. This is what she reminds me of. Let me see if that will... There we go. Okay. Ready? This is up on the witness stand. Elizabeth La Posada. Please state your name.
What is your name? I didn't get that. Nope.
Hold on. Let me keep trying it.
What is your name? I didn't get that. Nope. What is your name? I didn't get that. Nope.
What is your name, Miss La Posada? Where are you from?
What is your name? I didn't get that.
He's 7'2".
What is your name?
Bitten by an animal, a bear, I think.
Nope.
Yes. I'm not trying to be mean. Nickel. Read. Folks, my point is in playing that is appearance matters. Appearance matters. I'm not trying to, well, maybe I am trying to poke fun at her, but you know, her he was 7'2", John O'Keefe, and he was bitten in the ankle by a bear. Then, like, what are you talking about? And why? But the media globs on. Oh, well, you know, that's the new narrative, and well, they're certainly not, you know, believing anything that the prosecution witnesses came forward. My point is, and I don't think this is stressed enough, and that is, and I will take some of your questions. Let me go through this a little bit. Is I don't, you know, the media was so quick to throw overboard I was out today, and that's why I didn't feel like showering before we do this, so thus I just thought I'd wear a road patrol hat. These are available at depetro.com in the shop. But my point is, I thought that they act as though the moment another narrative comes in, everything else is thrown out the window. I'm telling you, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. And I don't think it did work that way. You know, Hank Brennan with his close, meaning his closing argument, it was so powerful because, and I'll talk about Jackson, and I'll do a little of Leslie. But what he did that I thought was so effective was he talked about her actions. He explained to the jury why certain things made sense. And I love that. She went into self-preservation mode. She went into Karen Reed. She went from, I left him at the waterfall. And then Jen McCabe said, no, Karen, I saw your vehicle. Click. Pivots. He was hit by a plow. He was probably hit by a big vehicle. Hers, he was hit by a plow. John's dead. I thought it was so effective the way he mapped that out. Folks, also, I can't tolerate these people. No collision. Like it's ludicrous at this point. A blind man at midnight could tell that there was, what do you think it was? Like, it's so stupid at this point, right? Jackson, no collision, no, he could say that as many times as he wants. No collision, no collision. You know what I was thinking also? Can you imagine Jackson of like the first time they sat there and he had to listen to Karen go through the whole thing of, and then he was in the basement and then they threw him on the lawn, right? Like Alan Jackson must have been like, well, you know, they did tell me she had a drinking problem. They did tell me she was certainly, you know, fucking insane, but they did say she had a drinking problem. Oh, that's interesting. Really? The basement. Yeah, except now it's the garage. But it doesn't matter because they're just pulling it out of thin air. So, but I just think of Jackson, you know, like privately. Huh, really? So tell me the whole thing. Well, yeah. So then, you know, they killed him for no reason, no motive, threw him out on the front lawn. Oh, that's interesting. That's quite a story you got there, Karen. Karen, the other night on Court TV, one of the people I was on with, by the way, Court TV tomorrow night, I think I'm on both tomorrow morning at 8 and also tomorrow night at 9. I think so. Let's see what happens tomorrow. But I think it's fair to point out, like the whole thing, everything we've learned, that there's actually still people online just parroting like that is ludicrous. And why I believe that is so false is no one who would actually believe that. No collision. He didn't like what at this point, and they're still saying it. And as I was going to say the other night on Court TV, you know, I'm up with against one of them. Oh, you know, those messages were just, you know, normal. I like it's either Nurse Kim or the Rocco guy, like just normal. Really, God, I fucking hate you. Really, that's normal. Huh, that's very telling. You know, fucking pervert. Really? Oh yeah, that's that's interesting. That's just normal couples bickering. You know who else is a total a-hole? Is that lawyer, you know, saying, why didn't Jen McCabe go outside? Maybe because everyone was drinking, and maybe that she just figured like, whatever. Maybe they decided not to come in. Why didn't Jen McCabe go outside? Why didn't Karen go inside? Why didn't Karen say, hey, what happened? I thought he went in the house. When did he leave? Like, how did this happen? She doesn't say that. No, what does she say instead? Jen! Carrie! Yeah, that's normal behavior. But I like that. Oh, you know, just they were very loving. Really? Good thing they were loving. Can you imagine if they weren't loving? God, I fucking what a fucking lunatic. What a hagbag. It's just preposterous at this point. That's what I'm trying to get through to people. And again, I'm just talking, so I'm not looking at comments. I will get to comments, and I'll answer questions. But they just parrot. They don't answer anything. They just keep saying no collision. You know, there's still people that think that the feds are going to get involved here. These idiots on TikTok. Higgins has flipped. Like it's absolutely certifiable. in the local media. Enough of like, look at all these people out. I mean, to me, it's like, if I worked for BZ or Channel 7, I'd say clearly there's a mental health crisis in our country based on the number of these lunatics that are out here supporting this woman. This woman flew in from San Francisco and she's here to support Karen Read. Now let's, in our segment, have a mental health specialist that talk about how insane that is. That's not normal behavior. They don't even know her. No, you Karen, my queen, Karen. Doing the fucking signal, whatever it is. It's stupid at this point. Call it out. Jesus. I am telling you, Hank Brennan, starting off, looking back at Peg O'Keefe, great move. I also like, he just laid out the whole thing. She was drunk. I like when Hank Brennan said she had options. She had choices. She made her decision. We had an eyewitness. Good news. We had an eyewitness at 34 Fairview. It was the defendant. It was her. She was the eyewitness. She tells us. Well, he didn't look mortally wounded. I didn't think I hit him, which is still my favorite. Like, who even says I didn't hit him? I like hit him, but I didn't hit him. You know, I was blinding drunk, but not like blinding drunk. I was like, I wasn't drunk. I was just like drunk. I wasn't drunk. I was drunk. I didn't hit him. I just, I might have hit him, but I didn't hit him. Good thing you didn't hit him. All nonsense. Does that sound like a reasonable person? Hank Brennan threaded that through. He did. I will go to your questions and comments. If you like this type of content, right now we're live on Facebook. You can send stars. Hopefully, when I check the comments, we won't have a bunch of these free Karen Read people that just keep asking questions. They don't answer any questions because they're not prepped how to answer a question. They just ask questions. Or if you're on YouTube, which we're very happy to grow with this. I guess it's whatever the names are that I sent. I think Hank Brennan did the best possible job. And there's so much that has gone unreported by the jury, which is Hank Brennan. He has a feel. Listen, Alessi, right? This was the first time Alessi was actually doing a criminal trial. And I like him. I will see him tomorrow. And I'll do my impression of him. Right? Think of that. He was sent up to kill time, Robert Alessi. And I'm not convinced. I think there was too much of him. I don't think the jury necessarily, as he's questioning Dr. Welcher. And did you search the shed? Welcher, there was no shed. Exactly. Your Honor, I would like to demonstrate for a jury how to build a shed. No, Mr. Alessi, we're not going to do that. Did you search the woods for a shed? No. Exactly. He would say exactly. Jackson must have told him to do that. Like you try to give the person the impression you're catching them off guard, but not when it's a nonsensical question. And again, I have to. I like him. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I'll do my impression for him. I wish him no ill will. He was put in a tough situation, but he's asking questions and going down avenues that just don't have, like, where are we going with this? Did you search the attic? No, exactly. Welcher said, hey, I got to hand to this guy. I haven't heard these types of questions. Your Honor, he's talking about my hand. Mr. Alessi, please, let's talk about the dog bites. Let's talk about the history of dogs. Mr. Alessi, how much longer Let me ask you, do you own a dog? No, I don't own a dog. Exactly. Talk about going for the Perry Mason moment.
What's your name?
And
I didn't get that. Nope.
Marie Lapasada. Let me try one more time.
What is your name? I didn't get that. Nope.
All right. All right. Enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that.
What
Let
is
me
your
go
name?
to who else do I have?
I didn't get that.
No, no, no. Remove that. Remove that. All right. We got enough out of that. Where was the other one I wanted to let me tell you about La Posada though. You know, for her to do that, I don't, I don't care. The jury is sitting there and the jury is watching her going through the whole thing. They don't know her. The jury's built up a rapport with Brennan, and she starts saying, all due respect, she starts saying things that no one else has said. And with the breathe, you know, if I'm on the jury, I would be thinking she's like, how much is she an expert that she thinks John O'Keefe is 7'2"? He was dead within 5 minutes. He had bites from a bear. Like what? Oh yeah, that's the lady. What? Because she was the medical examiner? I don't. I know that, and by the way, I fully admit I could be wrong. I get that. I could be wrong with all this. Maybe if there are some people on this jury and they're looking for a way to free Karen Read, then you can make the argument that those frauds from ARCA and Marie Russell with the dog, you could argue that they're giving, all right, enough of Alessi, that they're giving them ammunition to get, get her off, meaning, you know what I mean. But I don't, where's the image? Where is she? I don't think, there she is. I think I think the media was too quick to act as though everything. Oh, okay. Problem with the file. I just think Marie Russell, she's a nice old lady from California. And for her, and I love how Brennan went after her. She's the prominent dog bite expert in the entire country, riding in the limo with Alessi. I'm not convinced. You got to realize it's kind of, you have an opinion. Is the new person overriding it? I know some people say, well, it's a battle of the experts, but is it really a battle of the experts? I'm not convinced of that. I think Brennan built up the rapport. I think that a lot of the media did not capture is the defense. To me, in all seriousness, I don't think they didn't get in a rhythm. It was too much Alessi. And Yannetti was, let's be honest, Yannetti was like, what they let him do, with the guy that measured, didn't even measure the whole thing. Yannetti got lucky. Talk about drawing the short straw. And every time Jackson got up, he was just like an angry guy. I didn't see that was playing with the jury. I don't see it. I think the clues are there for those that want to see it. And I also want to be very clear. So today's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And I'm very fortunate. I spoke to my 3, and, we talk about everything. And they know, obviously, I'm covering the trial, invested with the trial. And one of the things I pointed out to them was, because people are sending this to me, and that is that there's polls apparently that show 80-20. 80-20, meaning 80% of people believe that Karen Read is not guilty or will be found not guilty, whatever the way they phrase it. And I think it's such an important lesson, because I made clear, at least to my children, that I don't care about that. For some reason, there's people out there that clearly it must be important to them, or they think that that's going to sway people. I've had people like, all right, enough. You've made your point. It's time to come on board with everybody else. I can't unlearn what I know. As I said, in July of 23, when we did a deep dive on this case, and I talked to someone who's clearly in the defense camp, but the story kept changing, and the story didn't make sense. And now the more I've learned, and then when I've learned more about the witnesses, and then you really see what this is, my position hasn't softened. My position is stronger. I reject a lot of what goes on from the other side. And so much of this, just for to be serious for a moment, I will take some of your questions. But let me get this out. Is, the real danger with, this is a cult. Cult behavior is dangerous. It is dangerous. This is a form of brainwashing. These people don't even realize that. I don't know if they know what brainwashing is, but it is brainwashing. And part of that is dehumanizing the enemy, right? Like, part of that is in order to get somewhat normal people to do criminal things, bad things, bad acts, things that might be considered out of character for them, the way to increase that is to convince them that the people they're doing this to do, they deserve it, or they dehumanize them. And it's rotten behavior, but that comes into the brainwashing, and not to be too melodramatic, but that was a big part of the Nazis. As people say, how could they have done that? Right? And I visited Poland. I visited the concentration camps, and you do, like, how could anyone do it? How could anyone be taking these children off the trains? But it's all part of the dehumanizing. Now, granted, in a situation like this, it's to a lesser extent, but the model's the same. The way they talk about the witnesses, the way they talk about the McCabe's, the way they talk about Hank Brennan, the way they talk about the judge, the way they talk about anyone saying anything different than what they're supposed to be saying, and the way that they get them to rationalize that is to convince them it's okay. It's okay to do this because they had it coming, right? Like you dehuman. They're not human. They're not people worthy of respect. They have forfeited any right of that. Your right to harass them. Your right to call them names. Your right to follow them and film them and harass their kids, harass where they work. Because otherwise, a normal person would say, well, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing this. Clearly. But I see some of this stuff, and, anytime, for those of us that have spoken up, you're going to get some fire, right? You're going to get some blowback. But anytime, because there are people that get it, and I see people, I know I'm going to post this, get blowback. Think of that. It's ludicrous. But the way they describe it, there was a woman on Court TV. I wasn't even on the segment, and she was talking about me. But she was saying, of all the anti-Karen Read people, that is so, like, I can't even believe someone actually vocalized that. Someone who thinks of themselves as intelligent. Anti-Karen. Like, they're so lost. She is, and Karen Read, I think she, and they point at me. He's just anti-me. No, I'm anti-drunk driving. I'm anti-domestic violence. I believe in our system. The system's not corrupt. The judge is not corrupt. Brennan's not corrupt. the Canton police were a little casual, but it didn't seem like a complicated whodunit. It wasn't until Karen Reed got to work. So, but to paint it as anti, I'm probably not going to give a good analogy, but it was like the O.J. Simpson case. To me, that wasn't a race case. He brutally stabbed those people. They made it a race case, right? Oh, you think O.J.'s guilty? You just don't like black. That had nothing to do with it. If it had been a white teammate, I'd feel the same way. It's not about that. You're just anti-Karen Reed. It's not about that. Why can't someone be pro-O'Keefe? Why isn't that an option? How about now? You know what his problem is? He believes in the system. Why? A murder defendant. I've never cheered for murder defendant. My record is intact. I've never been praying and hoping a murder defendant beats the system. I think it's moronic. In the people out there, I don't care. It's 80. I wouldn't care if it's 99-1. As I told my children, I can't unsee what I've seen. I can't unlearn what I've learned. The more I've learned, the stronger I feel about this. 100%. And all these people, I'm so disappointed in you. I like these people 99% of the time. I agree with you. Did it ever occur to you? Have you ever actually considered the fact? Is it possible that she's lying? Why is that not possible? Who, Karen? Why is that off the table? I won't listen to this. Not Karen Reed. Why? Do you know her? No. Have you met her? No. I'm getting hate mail from people from Australia and England. Like, you want to talk about Looney Tune. Absurd. Do you understand? And I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, and I'm going to go to questions in a moment because I am going to bed early tonight. I have to. It's going to be a long day. I think tomorrow's going to be a long day. And also, let me say, listen, if whatever verdict they come back with, that's the verdict. I'm not going to say it's rigged. Now, unless we find out that they fucked up and there's a pro Karen Reed person, free Karen Reed person part of the jury. Well, that's more than the system screwed up. I don't think that's the case. But whatever. If they come back 12 people, we didn't see it. That's what it is. And that's the way it came down. But they certainly don't feel that way. They don't feel that way at all. But I reject the notion of the labeling and name calling like this woman did, who I don't even know, on Court TV. He's the biggest anti-Karen Reed person. Listen to yourself. What are you talking about? Because I have sympathy for the O'Keefes? Because I think, by and large, the police do a good job. Police have a tough time. I think Katie McLaughlin's a good first responder. I think Nuttall's a good first responder. I think Becker is a good first responder. I think the doctors did all they could. I think where Hank Brennan really thread the needle here was John O'Keefe needed help. He needed help. She knew he was there and she wouldn't help him. I thought it was very powerful. There was no, what are you talking about? Welcher said there was a collision. Aperture. This is what they do. They believe there was a collision. Hank Brennan's telling you there was a collision. The guy's laying in a debris field of taillight. No collision, no collision. Like, you can say that 100 times. If you keep saying the earth is flat, it doesn't make it flat. And before I go to read some of your questions and comments, where I come down on this, where I believe they made a mistake, is they're asking Alan Jackson, the defense, they're asking the jury to leave everything they've learned up to this point in their common sense at the door. And they're asking them to go into, I don't know what, Sergeant Schultz territory, into fantasy land, into, not a collision. Those Karen clips, as I have been saying, and notice Number one, her supporters, they never talk about the Karen clips. Number two, they never mentioned she was drunk. Number three, they don't mention that he was found in a debris field of taillight. That's not what they throw out to me is not reasonable doubt. It's not. I have no reasonable doubt. None. Zero. I didn't say it was a small burden, but he proved it. He absolutely proved it. But I believe the defense, they're asking too much of the jury. We need you to suspend all belief, right? With those, and especially, as I've said, with those, especially, yeah. Thank you, DJ. My sister's in. Oh, yeah. With, keep doing a Leslie. Did you search? I like Welcher. No, exactly. Totally just taking up time, right? Let's talk about the history of dogs. Would it be fair to say they were abrasions? No, there was no dog DNA. Exactly. What, like, are there people that actually think the jury was listening to that? I mean, I get it, right? Some of the Boston media, oh, let's see. What that guy had the what? They were like, oh, fuck, not him again. Time to take a snooze. It's not a complicated case. A drunken hagbag fucking hit him. He needed help, and she didn't help him. She went home. She was drunk. He was 7'2". Where'd they dig her up from? Where's the limo? Unless he's riding around with Marie Russell. Moronic. But I do like the people of some of the free Karen Reed people that I go on television with. Oh yeah, totally normal relationship. I fucking hate her. Yeah. Good thing she's normal. Boy, I'd hate to catch Karen if she wasn't normal. You know what else is that? You know, as I've said, I want to finish two things. So the first time I met Hank Brennan, you know, he's busy. I don't want to interrupt. And he comes right up to me, puts his hand out and says, you know, John DePietro, big fan of your work. I mean, that was big. I still remember the moment. I texted, you know, we have a family chat, texted my kids, told them what happened. Listen, he's a great guy. He's a brilliant guy. This is not an easy case. They attack him. They attack his family. Ridiculous. Some people have old grudges against him. It doesn't work that way. There are very good people that are supporting the O'Keeffes and supporting the family. La Posada. Jesus. Have another Newport Light. Fucking A. I mean, gotta be 4 packs a day, right? He was dead within 5 minutes. I love Marie Russell, though. We were in the limo with Alessi. Thanks, Marie. Fucking bird brain. Jesus. But as I've told you, I really like, and I'm going to go to your questions right now, that Hank Brennan mapped out that John O'Keefe needed help. He did need help. And unfortunately, the one person that he couldn't count on, look at, and I thought this was very strong, look at what Jen McCabe did when she learned that John O'Keefe was in trouble. You know, it's sad, but it's like a scene, as I've said, out of Wonderful Life at the end. As they say, you know, it was, you know, the wife, it was George, it was so forth. It was, people heard George was in trouble and they came running. And that, I like how Hank Brennan talked about that. John O'Keefe, he helped people. He was a first responder. He was a Boston police officer. He, you know, he could have said, hey, you know, those kids, I live in an apartment in Dorchester. No, well, he didn't. He said, I'll become the legal guardian of my niece and nephew. And she, by the way, she took advantage of that. That's what all the fake illnesses were with her. I don't know if people have talked about that. She pegged him as an easy mark. Karen Reed pegged No one talks about this. She pegged John O'Keefe as he won't break up with me, right? If I tell him that I have health problems, he won't break up with me because he's too much of a good guy. So every time I say, hey, listen, I can't, I got to spend more time with them. I don't, I don't know. Like right now, I don't think I have the time. Oh, well, can you drive me? We'll have to have a brain scan. And if John O'Keefe was like a selfish a-hole, he'd be like, well, then have your parents drive you or your brother or whatever. But he didn't do that. And she would use that to keep him hooked in. She took advantage of his good nature. But as I've said, it speaks volumes. Kerry Roberts, Jen McCabe, moment's notice in a blizzard. John is missing. I'm there. Notice, I like how Hank said, Karen didn't say, what happened when he left the house? What time did he leave the house? She didn't say that. She did not say that. No. Nope. She made a decision. She put it in reverse and she floored it backwards. And John O'Keefe needed help. In a couple things, they can try to distract. They can attack Hank Brennan. They can attack the O'Keefes. They can attack the witnesses. They can attack me. They can attack Joe Krowski. They can attack Kevin Lenahan and everyone else. But what they can't dispute is there was no Google search. They can't dispute she put the car in reverse. The Lexus data shows that. They can't dispute she had a broken taillight. They can't dispute his phone stopped moving and the temperature of the phone. They can't dispute that. And Hank Brennan laid it out. She pivoted, went to self-preservation. And then what did she do? She then decided to try to pin it on his friends. And as Paul O'Keefe said, and turn it into the Karen Read Show as a victim. She's not a victim. She's actually a very disturbed individual, is what she is. All right. Now, I'm going to go through, and I know, yes, let me start at the beginning. There's no collision. That's the first one I see, but I think those are old. Okay. Let me get to some. Thank you, Debbie. Go like this. Yes, Towel Nation. I love Towel Nation. I didn't have time today for Grant. Please tell him, don't take it personal. Thank you, Jude. Love you. Yes, I like that. Hit the like button. Thank you, everybody. It's Melissa. What do I think the verdict will be, Steve G? I don't know. I think they have proven murder too. I think they have proven I think so, second-degree murder. That said, I don't think she's walking away from this. I don't. And there's no reason to have a hung jury. I don't think so. Do you think you're guilty? I don't know how, it's not easy and you have to fill out all the forms. I'm guessing they want to think about it over the weekend, talk about it tomorrow morning. Maybe they have some things to hash out. Maybe they see where they are. Thank you, Melissa. Sully Jones. Yes, he would have loved to have been with those. I don't know why you're sorry. No reason to be sorry. I agree. Zero doubt. Yep. I had a nice, relaxing Father's Day. I think there's no chance of an acquittal. I love that, Colleen. She did see death. It took too long, 28 minutes. Where was she? She went by and saw him. When did Karen know she broke the taillight? When she went at her house, she showed it to Jen and Kerry, and she erased the Ring camera video. What will you do if they say not guilty? I'll accept it like everybody else. Thank you. There we go. What did you predict last year with trial 1? Last year, I thought they had the manslaughter. I thought they, I believe there was enough confusion on the murder too. And they were 9-3 on the manslaughter. As far as what am I going to do? What do you think? I'm going to riot? And of course, who says that? A free Karen Read person. We got to, okay. I'm just glad, like, my element of having to deal with him is going to be coming, hopefully. So, yeah, she does. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, There was video of her showing her taillight to Jen and Carrie. And also keep in mind, she was probably I don't know if she was hungover, but she was sobering up 100%. Yes, thank you very much. There he is. There's Chuck. Thank you. Chuck can send stars. Hi, trial friends. I like that. Yes. Folks, we have to have a little, yes, thank you, Voice for Reason. We have to, that's what I'm about, the entertainment. I'm going to be live out in front of the courthouse tomorrow. Yes, making fun of people. Yes, that's what we do. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. You don't like it, screw. Scram. I'm going to make this my ringtone. Peter Boyle, he was great. How great was Gene Hackman, rest in peace? I didn't catch that. I love when he repeats it. Thank you, WD-40. We have a nice group. Yes. Thank you, Sue Hall. Thank you, Harriet Brown. Yeah, that's right. La Pizzata Palooza. Who knows? She claims she has MS. She claims she had a brain tumor. Let me tell you something. If you have a medical condition, drinking straight booze is not going to help it. No. Thank you very much, Jasmine. I appreciate that. What's going on here? If the broken taillight doesn't fit, you must have quit. I don't think they're acquitting her. So I was hoping she would pass out. I don't care, Jasmine. It's all lies. He's a pathological liar. They just lie. I don't care what those people say. Yes, I really don't. There's Henry B. I don't. I know. Well, she makes the rounds, Roxy. She makes the rounds. There's bad blood. Hank Brennan stopped using her, and then she's got it out for him. Thank you, Voice for Reason. She was way drunk. She was drunk. Yes. Working my through. He is, telling you. I can't be around. SUV and hit. Absolutely. What, George? Come back to reality. What are you talking about? So everyone's lying except for Karen. What? I don't care. Guys, I don't care if it goes to 99-1. I do not. No one, and they're not, I'm telling you, there's Nancy McCormick. The jury was responding to Hank Brennan. These people just lie. And as I've told you, there's a lot of people that have big plans of how they're going to cash in. Should she be found not guilty? That's what they're planning on. This Heather. Thank you, Heather. Heather sent me a nice note. Well, looks they all have a drinking problem. Well, there's only one person that's on trial for murder here, Tony Ann. So, no, they have not, Michelle. Well, that's why we call it a verdict watch. So, that guy, I couldn't believe that guy. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine following that. But as I've said, hey, listen, the money's in the conspiracy. If I went deep in the conspiracy, forget about it. I'm not doing that, though. I can't. Well, I'm glad you asked that, Roxy. They're definitely going to, that'll be their thing. Oh, she's going to get out on appeal. That's almost automatic. But they'll just say that. They say that every time. I've heard that before. I've had people, that he's going to get out on appeal. There was someone that was convicted. And I was saying, I'm telling you, I think he's going to get convicted. He was convicted. They said, well, he's never going to go to jail. And then he went to jail. Well, they're going to appeal. He's going to get out on appeal. I kept hearing that. You know what happened? He did 5.5 years. And the appeal was unsuccessful. That's right, Heather. Thank you. Well, I don't care. He lies. Thank you, JMS. I appreciate that. Hey, listen, he's a liar, Jasmine. He is. He said Colin Albert was involved. He said the Google search. He said there was a guy named Scanlon that Brian Albert confessed to. They keep lying. Now they have him in the garage. What happened to the fucking basement? Right? As I was saying yesterday, maybe he's on the fucking roof. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. Do you understand? Do you think a guilty verdict for murder too? Well, it'll all come down at once. It'll all come down at once. So whenever they finish, that's it. So if tomorrow they have a verdict, we're going to hear everything. So, but I am 100%. I can't believe that guy. I can't believe Boston 25, Ted Daniel, they used that fucking clown. I hate that guy. Listen, he's just high there, but he's just saying what he thinks everybody wants to think. Oh my God. Why are you ignoring the science? Who told you to say that? Why didn't they go outside when the first responders got there? Because they took John to the hospital, because it was a howling snowstorm. Because in the middle of hearing things, where are my Facebook moderators? Get rid of this hag bag. Listen, you think of you lying there and you hear plow trucks and they're backing up and the beep, beep, beep. They don't use lights and sirens, or they don't use sirens in Massachusetts. Because you can't have it both ways. They're drinking heavily, and then people say, how come they weren't up and at 'em and out? By the time Brian Albert came downstairs, John was on his way to the hospital. There was nothing to do. So this business of why didn't they come out of the house? That's false. That is a ridiculous statement. You know what else I noticed, Angie Lou, is you're not addressing, do you believe she backed up? She backed up, period. And it's just stupid to try to just keep firing questions. That maybe because he didn't get hit by a car. What are you talking about? They did a demonstration. It showed he got hit by Alexis. Why? All right, I'll answer that. Then how come, it doesn't show. Maybe he didn't get hit by a car. Well, then why was she saying maybe I clipped him? Maybe I hit him? Why would she say that? Rhett Clark. Two people can play this game. Why was she saying, did I hit him? Did I clip him? I didn't think I hit him. Why would you say that? Why didn't she say, Jen, what happened? He went in the house. Why didn't she say that? See, they don't answer because they're just told to keep asking questions. Yes, that's right. Yeah, well, that's just stupid. I don't care. Get rid of an idiot like that. I don't care. Oh my God. Get rid of this person. Why am I looking at her? See, look at where they go to. I'm stupid. And you believe the earth is flat. So there you go. Can I make a donation? Well, you can do somebody show her how to do, what do they call it? Super chat or special chat or something like that, Judy. Thank you. You can also go to thepetro.com. Yes. Please stop, Jasmine. Please stop. I don't know. I'm trying to be polite. It's all lies. Don't you understand that? Instead of telling me what a pathological liar said, why don't you tell me how are they answering about the Google search, the fact she backed up, his phone stopped moving, and he was found in a debris field of taillight pieces, and she was saying, I hit him. So I don't need to hear that foolishness. Yes, thank you. I'm like way behind here. Let me try to straighten up. They are going to need pink jackets. I'm going to speed up a little bit. Oh my goodness. That's exactly right, Libby. That is so stupid. And thank you. We're going to do more. We're going to hold off on live on the radio because I can't talk this way on the radio. Yeah. Well, I've been through it a little bit, but thank you very much, JMS. Yes. Oh, good. Thank you, Voice for Reason. So I mean it. I've had people, I can no longer listen to him anymore. Whatever. Go ahead. Keep thinking the world is flat. No, she's not responsible for a string of murders. She's been, she's out on bail, but no, she's not like that. She made a decision that night. And here's the thing. Thank you, WD. It's, listen, as Hank Brennan said, it's easier if there's a gun or a knife involved. Much easier that way. With the weak poor. She's such a drunk. She's a hag bag. She is. I can't stand her. Yes. Thank you, Top Cat. I will get some kids and do that. I can't wait either. So thank you, Carrie Lynn. Telling you. Oh my God. Why am I still looking at this person? Where the frig are will somebody please reach out to our moderators on Facebook? Then why are you following? Then don't follow. I'll live without it. Screw. Thank you, Judy Fury. There we go. Yes. Well, that's all I want. I can't put up with the idiots. I can't. Who cares? Oh my God. Why am I? These must be old comments. I'll get rid of her right after this. Yes, that's what we're hoping for, Lisby. And you guys know my challenge is not to cheer or laugh too loudly as they're dragging her out in shackles. And as I'm high-fiving Paul O'Keefe, whew, then the party's going to begin. They do make excuses. And the Boston media makes excuses. Oh my God. Leah DeFonce. You don't even know her. You could be that girl. I guess if you floored in reverse, when you have a loved one behind him, you could be her. All right. Again, I got to talk to my moderators on Facebook. So I don't know why I don't know where they're. Get rid of them. You could be her. Yeah, I guess if you develop a drinking problem and floor it backwards, you could be her. Other than that, I don't think you have anything to worry about. You know, that's like that lady Rita. She could be any one of us. Yeah, if you're a drunken hagbag, I suppose. A big filibuster. Alessi. Yep. Thank you, Graham. That's what we're going for. She did want to go. Mike is exactly right. She did want to go to D&E Pizza. And that's why she was mad. That's why she was angry, I should say. Oh, my God, did he, Rose? He was trying to drag it out. Thank you, Inchilu. Why am I still looking at these fucking comments from these people? I got to work on that. Good. And then to go. Good. Guess what? Go there tomorrow and take a photo with them. Jesus. All right. I'm assuming people were just enjoying Father's Day. So you think the experts are not experts? If you have two people, one group of experts looked at everything. One group did not. That's what I think. I think Heisberg, she gets cuffed right there. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, do I think Marie Russell is an expert? Do you think experts are experts? No, I don't think Marie Russell is a fucking expert. She's never testified on dog bites in her life. Let's hope so, Kimmy. Yep. He did. He was great. As a jury, your first question, where would that taillight go missing? Right. Well, it wasn't his car. It was her Lexus. So Alessi. Exactly. You know, I had someone last night. She's framed. She didn't kill her husband. You should be ashamed of yourself. She's being framed. She didn't kill her husband. Boy, there's someone paying attention. Will Robin please get rid of some of these kooks? She is. She is a drunk. Would you want your kids on the road with Karen Reed? Total hag bag. I don't think so. Not this late. It was worse last year. I don't think so. Nope. All right, Kimmy, I'm getting down to it. Let me see. I like Mr. Alessi's voice too. Why do you think I do an impression of him? I have nothing against the guy personally. Listen, I'm just saying, I just don't think it was effective. Hank was the most effective in the courtroom. I don't think they do, Carrie Lynn. I don't. So, you know, the judge, Your Honor, I object. Mr. Alessi. Exactly. Let's talk about how taillights are made, shall we? Yes. That lady. Totally grabbing a paycheck. Verdict watch on the weekend. You don't have to watch. Why all these losers coming from Facebook? Where are my moderators? You don't have to watch. There's the good news. Scram. I don't know, Rose. That's a good question. The civil trial. Oh, yeah. The murder stance. Yeah, they really looked like they were going to kill somebody at the bar. So two guys that I don't know where my Facebook moderators are, but look at the troll. I don't even know who this Angie Lou is, but she's gone as soon as I finish. Thank you, Heisenberg. That it's just ridiculous. Two guys that went to New York to attend the funeral of a fallen officer decided, and Brian Higgins was friends with John. Brian Higgins went over to his house and watched the Patriots game when Karen kissed him in the garage. Why? There was no motive. They went, but they with no motive. They just decided to kill him in was it the basement or the garage? Like, it's just ridiculous at this point. Yes, thank you, Voice of Reason. On the website, depetro.com, there is a shop, and it's right in the shop for Road Patrol Live. And there's a number of different things. We also have mugs. I'm going to start pushing the merch more once the trial ends. And I know a lot of the people that I think he is, thank you, Elizabeth Vargas, from ABC. He did cause all the chaos, but he's an out of town. Remember, he's a renter. Think if you're in a neighborhood, the difference between the owners and the renters, right? Jackson, he gets on, he can't wait to get to Logan to get the frig out of here. Can you imagine she's calling him all hours? Oh my God. I got to work with my Facebook people. They're usually better than this, but it's embarrassing. The free Karen Reed people are just, and you know what else, folks? I want to mention something. These people, it's not like when someone says they confuse. It's not opinion. It's not opinion. I hear this from people. Thank you, Cindy. People say, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. But you're not entitled to facts. An opinion is, I'm against capital punishment. I'm against the death penalty, or I'm in favor of it. That's an opinion. But if you say the world is flat and that's my opinion, this is not an opinion case. This is a fact-back case. So these people, you just don't like my opinion. You're not giving an opinion. You're spouting misinformation. That's what it is. So I shared it into a comment. Let me try to move up faster a little bit. Oh my God. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh my goodness. We got to work on that. Sorry, everybody. It'll take 1 second, but we normally have moderators. We have good moderators on YouTube. Usually I have really good moderators on a Facebook page. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Oh, let me go here. It'll take 1 second, but I'll just feel better. Because I loathe them. I really do. They're just irredeemable. Oh my God. Where are my fucking moderators? All right. I'll try to work through it. We'll get rid of them later. Thank you. Yes. Yannetti, yeah. Well, they work together. They're going to have to work together again. So, yep. Thank you very much, Agent 99. I know they're not accurate, and they just they totally manipulate them. But I'm just saying, people send them to me, like, are you still sure about this? Yes. I'm going to be on tomorrow morning with Julie. So it is, they've developed. Do you think Alan Jackson? No, I do. No, there's nothing like that. She's not innocent. No, Hank Brennan put it very plainly, and that is that she made a decision. And her decision was no. I don't think there's any politics involved with it. I don't. There's Colby. %. There's no doubt in my mind. No, I don't believe that. Thank you, Heather. That's exactly what happened. You want to know what happened? Hank Brennan laid out Friday night. On Friday, what happened? Yeah, that's right. The anti-Karen Read stuff. It's moronic. You're just anti-Karen. Thank you, by the way, everybody on YouTube for the super chats, and I gotta get the terminology again. Jesus. Yeah, that's the problem. Hold on, I just had it. Super chat and super thanks. Okay. I'll get better at it. Super chat, super thanks. All right. She was drunk. Listen, and she also, she did time in a drug rehab. Karen did. So you're talking about someone, Janet, it's not even worth it. They're just, and they're, oh my God. I'll deal with some of these people afterwards. You're doing this for views. I've already explained the views are in the conspiracy. Pin it on the girl. God. I'll deal with these people afterwards. Yeah, why are they watching? Scram. Listen, there's something wrong with you. There's Robin. Jesus. Anyone that shows up, no, I don't think they know that. I don't think they know that. And the Commonwealth, they've been, yes, thank you, Michelle. As if we need to explain it. 719. Oh boy, I'm still behind. Hank is great. Let me move a little bit quicker. All right, I'm going to answer if somebody did a super chat or there it is. Okay. You took me out the other day. About to tune up Darth Vader on the stand. I don't think I did. You took me out the other day when you said Hank Brennan's about to tune up Darth Vader on the stand. When I said that, Merv P, thank you. You took me out the other day when you said, oh, okay. I don't think you mean that in a bad way. All right. Someone was saying, he blocked me for saying, I if anything, we have great moderators. So thank you, Laura. Most of the time you're seeing that I'm not the moderators of anything, and they have no problem with it. I don't. They are. She's very guilty. She's totally guilty. Here we go. Please tell us about the new documentary being made. That's going to be really interesting. Voice of Reason. Yes. I don't know a lot about it, but I believe it's going to be a different angle, and it's not going to be starring Karen. So what it's my understanding from the little I know, I'll try to learn more, the new documentary, it's going to be of the effort to intimidate and scare the witnesses and made their life hell. So I believe that's the focal point. And that's exactly right, Heisenberg. So that's what it's going to be the focal point on. I have no idea when it's going to be released. I don't think that's going to work. I think she's going to be nervous. I do. So this could be her last night and weekend of boozing. These people. You watching a different trial? Like what? I really don't. I don't get it. I haven't seen anything like that. Antichrist. No, I don't. There's Miguel Degnan. Happy Father's Day, Miguel. God, I'm so far behind. Let me try to keep up. We'll deal with the people later. I gotta go to bed. Billy Bush, what a zero. Wow. I don't even get involved, folks. I'm just like, I'm saying no to, there we go. Peony Rose, John, check all the boxes of domestic violence. 100%. See, that's the thing. Thank you for that, Peony Rose. And I think Hank Brennan, it is easier to understand if it's a gun right? Like Alec Baldwin, the gun just went off. You can't say I accidentally stabbed someone 10 times, right? Or I accidentally shot someone 3 times. Alec Baldwin tried. I was just holding it. The gun went off. But she's where Karen Reed made the decision. She didn't even try to argue that. And as I said, she could have said way back, I was angry at him. I thought I put it in drive and I actually put in reverse. And then I went backwards instead of forwards. And then she could have done that. But she came up with this whole bullshit nonsense of it's so like I'm telling you, when Jackson said the other day, or the garage, as I said, the garage, the basement, maybe it was on the fucking roof. John was climbing a tree. I said, John, get off, I'm not fucking tree. I fucking hate you. Like a total hag bag. It's ridiculous. She did this. Hank Brennan also got into that. She dragged all these people along with her. She dragged Kerry and Jen along. And then she dragged her parents and brother along, old man Reed. And then he's good, Michael Jafar. He's good. And then dragged all these other people around. I don't know how long this is going to go. I believe all you can ask for is she's 100% guilty. Guys, anyone that, listen, as many of you know, many of the Facebook people, I solved the Charlotte Lester case. You don't believe me? Ask her family. Ask the Warwick police. I'm getting an award for that. I solved a murder case. I looked into this. It didn't make sense 2 years ago. It makes less. I'm 100% positive she's guilty. You know what happened is exactly as Hank Brennan laid it out on Friday. 100%. Thank you, Bill H. Folks, and as I tell you and I try to tell my kids, my thing is I put the truth out there. If someone's looking for the truth, they can find it. But I don't cater to the crowd. There's enough of those idiots out there. Like Billy Bush, Proctor. Like, wow. She is Crystal. She's so smug. Karen. Selfies. What? Because they didn't need to, Erica, is the answer. But that does exist, but they didn't need to. They keep her, like, when she's watching herself with the Karen clip, she likes, like, oh, look, I am a movie star. Yeah, like Nora Desmond. Alessi. He's a nice guy. I'll make sure tomorrow. I mean, I'm cool with him. I may do a selfie with Alessi. I'll see if he's taking the pictures with all the pink people, for Christ's sake. So I'm on Court TV tomorrow morning at 8. And then I think tomorrow night at 9. I'm not sure. Let's see how the day goes along here. He was that's a good question. Why does he have a babysitter? He was making faces at the jury. So they put someone between him and the jury. Someone else, I think it was Sue O'Connell, said, well, the Reeds have a babysitter. They have a court officer, not blocking them and the jury. The Reeds there's a court officer sitting where the court officer sits. So that's a lie. That's another lie. I mean, it's like nonstop lies with this crew. So I'm telling you, there is no reason. You can't, Lori. You can't. Guys, I'm telling you, something to watch on HBO Max. The Truth versus Alex Jones. There are people I'm no longer friends with because they believe that conspiracy. No, you're wrong. Sandy Hook never happened. I was saying, what are you talking about? Where is this coming from? It was all fake. Since then, you were right. I can't even listen to it. But it's worth watching because it shows how when people get into conspiracy, it's very frightening. I'm thankful I'm not related to someone. I have no close friend that believes it because I can't. Listen, everybody's flawed. I couldn't be in the same room with anyone that thought OJ was not guilty. I mean, I just couldn't. I'm just saying that maybe there's other people that are more diplomatic, that are more. I could not. I can't be around someone that says she's framed. It's ludicrous. I can't. I have too much pride. Thank you, Linda. There she is. Look at they are. You're so great and beautiful. Wow, that's really nice. I've heard that some people friends with the witnesses like my impressions. I've heard that. So can't wait to. Oh, he's angry all the time. Well, he can also, I want you to know this. They know what it's like. Jackson, Yannetti, they know what it feels like when they're winning. And it doesn't feel like this. Alan Jackson knows what it's like going into a closing argument, and he knows what it's like when he wins. It doesn't feel like this. They knew what it felt like last year. This year, it doesn't feel like that. Yep. I'm telling you, Angel, my biggest fear, I hope I don't cheer or yell too loudly in the courtroom when they say guilty and she's dragged out. So, no, I know. I don't know where they are tonight. I think now, we have some. Thank you very much. Thank you. Folks, we have to. This is insanity. And that's right. Miguel Degnan is hilarious. He also nicknamed me Juan. Oh, will I be cheering? She's such a hagbag. Look at this. John is secretly free Karen Reed. She's not a serial killer. I don't know. Yeah, that's just stupid. Like, see, that's their idea of funny. Like that's their idea of humor. The other side, their idea of humor is, Hank Brennan wore a brown suit. He's wearing a dog poo suit. Like that's their idea of humor, or like raunchy knock-knock jokes. They're she is. I won't give her to you. I don't know. Can you say? I mean, I don't want it to be racist. Can you say white trash? I mean, they're a crowd, as I've described. Her supporters in the courtroom, they're like the casino crowd. They're just shifty. They're shaky. It's a dirty crowd, or it's just like lost. It's people that just go along to get along. There you are, GVA. We've been waiting for you. She's rotten. She is. No, folks, I should be in rare form tomorrow outside the courthouse. Yep, rare form indeed. Listen, I am not caving. I'm not caving. We have to speak up. I am someone of faith. I am praying for Hank Brennan. I'm praying for the witnesses. I'm praying for the jurors to use their good judgment that God gave them. I am. This is a good versus evil. This is a good versus evil. There's a lot of people that like to think in a moment of need that they would do the right thing, that they would, there are some people, they'd like to think if they were in certain situations in history that they would rise to the occasion. This is one of them. And this is local, because this is a ill-informed mob filled in consuming lies. This cannot stand. That's not what it's about. And I'm not trying to preach, but that Rita woman. It could be any of us. Anyone that says that, it's like embarrassing. I don't want to be around people like that. Like these people. Yes. These people. I'm not following you anymore. She did. She's not an expert. Marie Russell. I was in the limo with the Lucky. Exactly. Those two riding along, playing Staying Alive on the playing. Marie, you want a little Michael Jackson? Billie Jean is not my love. Them cruising around. Maybe her, having a drink, making a move on a lassie. Kit Kat, thank you. Why on earth didn't she take a plea? That's her mental unbalance, and she went down a different path. She received the testimony from the grand jury, which all attorneys and then their clients are privileged to, and then she started piecing together her story. And then she saw that Jen McCabe told the grand jury that Karen said I hit him, and she targeted him. They saw Michael Proctor's testimony, and they targeted him. And in her demented mind, and it is demented, she saw it as, I don't know, Danielle. Here we go. No, we're good. We're good. Listen, it's also the night of Father's Day. I get that. So, but she did, Linda. You know what I also don't understand is why. That's okay. It was earlier. We may work on that. We may work on that, Debbie B. So, you know what I don't understand is the Free Karen Read people. Why do they even enter? Why troll? Just like they can believe whatever the frig they want. I don't go on any of their timelines. I don't care what I don't care what they say. Absolutely, Sunshine Susie. Big time. The facts all point to are free now. Lynn Brown. I have no idea what you're talking about. Unless he just gave the close of a lifetime. You know what else? A lot of these people, you're going to be sorry. This trial's going to end. We have a big summer planned. We have a huge summer plan. Wait till you see some of the things we're going to start doing. And you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. Every day I get messages from people. Can you unblock me? No. You're dumbing down. I don't associate with people like that. I have to set an example for my children. See, there's Lynn Brown. What a zero. I think the cops are behind the whole thing. That'd be nice if they could prove that. Is that what you think? Jesus. These people. He is. Billy Bush. Having that. I don't know who that frigging guy is. I already answered that. They didn't need to. To get rid of people like you, why do you need moderators? Get rid of some of these people. It's just in bad form, you know? Like sometimes my kids pop in. I don't want them seeing that I'm interacting with people like that. Those people are trash. They really are. Her crowd. Even her witnesses are shaky or sketchy. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. We agree on a lot. So, see, nobody sees any negative comments, huh? Interesting. God, the losers that come in. There's Ryan. Hola. I don't know what type of drugs. But remember, the day of, her parents, the first thing they wanted to do was remove drugs that she had on her. So they were afraid she was going to, she was going to OD. But nope, folks, I don't know. She did go to rehab. She went to drug rehab. Yeah. See, that's another thing. You know, John was giving her a shot. She clearly had a drinking problem. I told you the fight over Dunkin' Donuts, that was not over Dunkin' Donuts. That was because he was uncomfortable with her driving with his niece or nephew in the car because John suspected she was drinking during the day. She would show up at his house sometimes at noon and he would be like, have you been drinking already? She'd be like, hey. So they had a fight over John saying, I don't want you driving them. Like, this is insanity. Like, he's a young, my niece and nephew, you're driving them. So no, there's no reasonable doubt. None. Not hit by a car. Go away. You're on the wrong page. Screw. I don't want anybody like that. I don't care. I have enough followers. What the fuck? Think I care about those fucking people? Like, who'd want them? Let them. Whatever. Who cares? Pathological liar. He's in trouble. See what he gets. You know what? Let him go to prison. See if he's a tough guy. I know someone waiting for him at Norfolk. Gary. Gary is a friend of mine's younger brother. I did this guy a big favor. He owes me. And his younger brother Gary's at Norfolk. And they're waiting for that little rat. Hank Brennan was great, Mary. All right, I'm trying to catch up here. Then I have to prepare for tomorrow. But I'm glad I did this, everybody. Look at that. We're almost at 2,000. listen, if I went on and started saying they're coming after Higgins, there was no collision, it would be triple the numbers. I'm not doing that. He did. He did. You know what, Brooke? I'm glad you, Alex, you know what? This is how nuts some people are. Alex Jones now admits Sandy Hook was real. And there's still people that say, no, it was fake. He created the hoax. And there are still people, I know Sandy Hook was fake. That's another level. That guy flew from Texas to Connecticut to harass those parents. Terrible. Imagine that for nothing. They lost their child. You know, some of those people, the parents, these people who were just like a Rita or something, they were saying, all right, exhume your kid, the body. Can you imagine? Like, it's bad enough your 6-year-old was gunned down in a classroom, and then you have these zeros saying, you would approve to me your kid. Like, wow, that is just another level. It is. But I can't. I mean, you know what? Because they are. Because not only are they misguided, I'm almost caught up, but they're obnoxious about it, aren't they? Like, why do they even come in? Why do they even come in? She is. She's a ragbag. She is. Yep. I don't know what's going to happen. What are you going to do with the well, I don't know. I'm going to cover it. That's what I'm going to do. What do you think I'm going to do? Leap over and tackle her? Like, what is that supposed to mean? What am I going to do? I'm going to act like a normal fucking person. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch. Thank you, LA Connection. I'll do it more tomorrow. I'm going to do more. I will be live outside the courthouse, like in and out, in and out. So make sure you follow this YouTube page. Make sure you follow Facebook. A lot of people following X. There's artwork. She does have a history of domestic violence. Does Karen Read have a history of domestic violence? She does. She had a former boyfriend. I don't know enough about why, but she definitely, you know, she's been in drug rehab, clearly an alcohol problem. You know, they were all there that night to relax and have fun, spend some time for the blizzard hit. Karen was there on a mission to get drunk. There's a weak pour. John was like, who cares? Just have it. We're just having fun for a little bit with these people. Oh, I got to order another shot. Like she that's a drunk. She was there on a mission. She was there for strong drinks. Hi, Ron Marshall. I don't know about that. I mean, there's a lot of different cults, maybe. But thank you, Linda. They don't. I wouldn't be doing this if they did. We're going to do more of this. Yes, she is, Joan. Yep. There's hot coffee. Hot coffee. Thank you, Robin. I love that. F-bomb stars. They are. Like, I don't. Oh, let me. Grandmother said the truth. So did the parents ever teach Karen Read? You know, Sunshine Susie, the parents, hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. The father, he agreed to bankroll this whole thing. They could have had a serious sit down and be like, this is ludicrous. We're not doing this. But I believe they thought, as I've told you, they thought that if we intimidate the witnesses, I don't even know who that person is, but I've heard she's a joke. They thought if we can intimidate the witnesses, this will never go to trial. I was told it would never go to trial. I didn't know what was going to happen with this. And then it didn't go to trial. And then, then she's doing the interviews and then the whole thing. No, they have this whole thing. She didn't have to do it. She'd be out by now. Do you realize that? Yannetti could have cut her a deal. They could have argued something. Mercy of the court. Probably would have been out by now. Okay. Thank you. All right, good. 811. She is. That's right. Assault. All right, folks. I got to get ready for tomorrow. Thank you to our moderators. Thank you, everybody. More tomorrow from the courtroom. Happy Father's Day, one and all. And we're going to continue our coverage tomorrow on Verdict Watch.